All right, next up, sports betting, guys. We were so hopeful that this was going to become a thing before football season.
Yeah.
Because it became a law many months ago.
Yeah.
And the way the law was written is it has to be enacted by January 1st, 2023. But this was a year ago, or this was half a year ago.
Yeah.
So I think the thinking was, okay, the major hurdle has been cleared. Now it's going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen before football season, and we can now tell you that it's going to happen at the last possible date, as is written by the law. January 1st, 2023 is when sports betting becomes legal in the state of Ohio. And I got to say, it's somewhat stunning to me because Michigan, our neighbor to the north, first of all of the states around Ohio have already done something to legalize.
Some for a number of years.
Yeah, some for a long time. Michigan legalized sports betting January 1 of 2021. So it's been about 18 months. They've raised, guys, $300 million in tax revenue from Sportsbook for the state of Michigan. $300 million. So if you look at the fact that Ohio could have started gambling the first of this year, but now won't go in place until the first of next year.
Yeah.
If you just use Michigan as a model, similar sized state, that's a $200 million shortfall for Ohio.
We got nitwits in power in our state house and state representatives.
Clearly.
Those who are in power there, they're idiots. They've already been, many of them, busted for corruption. For
some of them,
bribes.
not many, some.
Some of
there's
them.
a number
not
of them.
all,
but
yeah,
they're all.
We got to be careful with these words.
They're all in the power there. We have an illegal state map right now. The gerrymandering out of control. The state map's illegal. It got shot down by the state Supreme Court, and we still have to vote on it based on an illegal map. It's disgraceful. What's going on? And the fact that gambling, we're costing millions of. What did you say the money was in Michigan?
$200 million for 1 year.
Crazy.
They've had it for a year and a half. They've raised $300 million.
This should have been legal 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They're too busy wasting their time with stupid things. I mean, it is mind-blowing. Folks, pay attention to local politics.
Please.
Pay attention. This is important. My God. I hear the stories. I'm good friends with someone who is a state representative, and she's a great person and trying to help, but most of the people on there are not. So pay attention here. This is absurd that this is after the football season.
Well, it's during the playoffs, at least playoffs.
Well, you'll get the NFL playoffs, but gosh, Ty, think
I know.
about this.
Trust me, I know.
If Ohio State football season,
I know.
the Browns, the Bengals, the amount of money that the state is because
Just off of them three
by
alone.
the way, Detroit has the only pro football team in Michigan, and their number for a year is $200 million. For a year and a half, it's $300 million. You've got two pro football teams, and you've got Cincinnati and Ohio State, which both finished in the top 10 last year.
Yeah.
Where Michigan, you got Michigan and Michigan State, but I think Ohio could raise even more than $200 million a year, and it's essentially money that's been left on the table. Now, in defense of the legislatures, and I think this is important to point out, there's no infrastructure. So it's kind of like the NIL coming into the NCAA.
Yeah.
If you just drop
they've
it
had
in there,
years to work
I know,
on
but now
this.
wait a minute.
Yeah,
They
they've had
They had years for the NIL.
They couldn't start the infrastructure until the bill was passed.
But
so
it's their fault that it wasn't passed for this law.
Well, they've been punting that ball down the road forever. Listen, Ohio is still a pretty progressive state when it comes to legalizing sports betting. There's still way more that don't have it. So Ohio, at least on that vein, is in front of the curve, and they should be applauded for that. But the fact that it's taken this long, once it became a bill, once the bill became law, and they had until January 1, 2023, the fact that they're going to use that entire year as a runway
it's ridiculous.
And make it January 1, 2023, just because that's when the law has to be enacted, it just seems like it was a waste of a lot of money. If you get this done before football season, if it's just September 1 to the end of the year, I'd be willing to bet that Ohio would make $75 million.
How much more money could we make with legal marijuana?
It's all a grift.
Totally separate issue, but you're right.
That right
It is all a grift. These people that are in power have consistently done nothing. They don't get anything done. If you announce something, how would it take 2 years to get something done? They too worried about talking to other people doing backroom dealings. The issue is, when you have control over something, think about how many different things we can name that they didn't, we can't get a hold of that. You couldn't get a hold of NIL. You knew that was coming from 2 years. You couldn't do gambling on sports. You knew that's been here forever. You can't do anything about getting these guys from taking money from all these lobbyists. The bottom line is they're enriching themselves. They're kicking the can down the court. And that money can be used for other things. We talk about how we don't got enough. We can't protect schools. You sure can if you got $200 million from sports gambling. How about funnel some of that in? Well, our after-school programs, we ain't got enough for people to. Well, you could have some of that money because you could be enacted and stuff. To me, it's all about control. It's all about power, and it's all about people running grifts. It's not about them doing their job to get into office. They're in office to advance their legacy, to advance their bank accounts, and to sit here and act like they're holier out there.
Term limits.
Term limits.
Term limits.
Term limits. You can't be in politics for 40 years. I don't respect you, bro.
Let me ask you something.
Shouldn't
though.
be a career.
Let me ask you something, G. Would you, on January 1st, you gonna place a bet?
Now here's this whole different thing. I need my money. I ain't got it. Like I can't be. I always say the quickest way to lose your money is to bet on a sports team. We could always been betting offshore.
Don't bet what you can't afford to lose.
Bro.
Yes, that's the key.
That's true.
I haven't gambled now since 2000, since April of 2009. I play fantasy sports, which
That's kind of good.
Besides fantasy, I don't gamble. People, you need to be careful.
You struggled with it, didn't you?
I did. I had a major problem with gambling, and that's why I had to quit cold turkey, and I haven't gambled.
Is it hard for you?
Not anymore.
Do you think it will become more difficult once it's this easy?
No, something happened in my brain that I was just able to do.
How long ago was that you just went cold turkey?
13 years?
It was April of 2009.
Oh,
So
yeah,
13 years ago.
I had gone to Atlantic
Kudos
City.
to you, Bull.
Yeah,
Because that's not an easy habit to kick.
Thank you. I had gone to Atlantic City. I lost $1,000 that day, which I did not have.
Okay.
Then I played poker with my buddies at my house that night. I lost another $200. I flipped out of the table, kicked all my buddies out of my house, sent an email at 3 o'clock in the morning that I'm no longer gambling. Don't invite me to Vegas. Don't invite me to Atlantic City. And besides fantasy sports, I have not gambled since.
Good for you.
I have not been on a sporting event, a horse, or played cards once since that day.
Good for you.
So people have problems. But I believe in personal choice, gambling, marijuana, other things. Well, I'm not going to go down the road. But I believe in personal choice, okay? So just because I don't gamble doesn't mean other people shouldn't have the right to gamble.
Just do it responsibly.
If marijuana were legal, I don't smoke marijuana.
Right.
I would, if it were legal, I still wouldn't smoke marijuana. Not my thing. I tried it in college, didn't do anything for me. But it's absurd that it should be illegal.
Right.
These things could bring in a ton of money.
Did you inhale?
Yeah, right. I did. I think I did. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.